Welcome back to CFB Nation. I am your host, Cino Brown, and I got my guy. You already see him on the screen, and we're on, the screen together. You already know what it means. It's Devy Darlings time. Dino, how we doing, my man?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm excited to talk about this gentleman. Didn't know much about him until you pointed him out to me. So watching his tape, he's pretty exciting.
You're the Iowa guy, and I got to ask real quick. I know it's off the football topic, but is she healthy now after that game? That ankle didn't look too good with Clark.
Yeah, I don't know. As much as I hate to say it, Diana Taurasi may have been right. That learning curve, it looks kind of steep.
She's a little soft coming into the league. It seems like, right? It kind of these girls are getting the best of her, but hey, she's balling now. I mean, she hit that. She also shot one from the logo after she came back. So
that is true.
She's doing a thing. It's just I think she's got an adjustment period, and cream rises to the top. So we'll just see what happens, right? Yep. All right, let's get into it. Like you mentioned, this guy, he's a flashy guy here. Mr. Mike Matthews. He's obviously freshman wide receiver at Tennessee, but we're going to talk to him. 6'1", 186 pounds out of Parkview High School. He was the number 9 wide receiver in the 2024 class. That don't mean a darn thing to us. These guys in their rankings don't mean anything. I feel like they're way out in left field lately. But Dino, talk to me a little bit about this guy.
Yeah, so he was a Mr. Georgia finalist, which I think speaks for itself. He was a two-way player, played safety and wide receiver, and kid's got wheels. He ran a 4.440. That's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of was evident a little bit in the spring game, which we'll get to a little later. Like, this guy's got that pull-away speed, and 4.440 speed. In a Josh Heupel, quarterback friendly
18-year-old, like in the training too. So like pro day time, he could run high 4.2s, low 4.3s, which is even crazier to think about.
Xavier Worthy. Well, watch out, right? Watch out. But all right, at Parkview High School, I mean, he put up some numbers his junior year. He had 48 receptions, 1,031 yards, 9 touchdowns. I mean, also, accumulated 23 tackles and 2 picks. And then his senior year, this guy's just versatile. He can play everywhere. I mean, 39 receptions, 750 yards, again, 9 touchdowns. He had 48 tackles at the safety position his senior year. And he also had, special teams kickoff return touchdowns. So not only can he play to it, and this guy's pretty much Jack
Knight, on the field.
Slave for everything. You do whatever you want him to do. My man could do for you, right? And that's we're gonna get to a question, and I think this point we'll bring it in, but this special teams aspect to him might be a reason why this question we'll talk about later on might work in his favor. You know what I'm saying? But talk to me about some of the things that you've seen. It just the way his style of play that just jump off the screen to you.
Yeah, so the first thing I noticed is how strong his hands are. If he touches it, it's sticking to the palm. Another thing, he attacks the ball, which I think is incredibly valuable for a freshman. He doesn't wait for it to come to him. He goes and gets it. His open field skills are really good. He's got good vision. He'll find the pocket, sit there. Once he catches it, he'll keep his eyes up, make the move, and progress down the field. And the one thing I did notice, I hit on it earlier, his speed is phenomenal. If he gets behind you, you're not catching him.
It's going in 60 seconds. Is it less than 60? You know what I mean? He's just out. But you mentioned a little bit. He gets down in that pocket. You know what I mean? I feel like he finds the space for his quarterback. Tries to make those easier throws for his QB. Get to a space where it's just simple. He's not trying to fight the ball. Get it into tight space. Which I mean, if it is throwing him in a tight space, like you said, he will attack the ball and go get it. It's not going to sit there. But he's versatile, right? This guy can line up on the outside. Can line up on the inside. Put him in a screen. I mean, he can run the 9 route. Whatever you really want him to do. He can kind of do, coming in, like I said, as a 17, 18-year-old kid. He's got great body control. Obviously, with that speed, he's a downfield threat. But, because he does have a little bit of basketball background, You know what I mean? So you could see that in the contested catch. You know, when he goes up to get it, he kind of boxes him out. I'm not saying it's Keon Coleman style basketball skills, but it's evident in his game that he has that basketball background, that athletic style to him. So now he has the opportunity, okay, in this room. Well, a lot of people say, "Oh, that's a loaded room." Talent wise, hell yeah, that room is loaded. But production wise, I don't know if it is as loaded as many people will think. Everyone talks bad about Raymond Keaton. But I'm a big fan of Raymond Keaton. I think the Raiders got a steal in him. I mean, he had 35 receptions and almost 700 yards. He had 6 touchdowns. You know, you take away, you know, he was the leading guy on that team for touchdowns. And then Squirrel White obviously was the guy that led him in the production, yardage wise and receptions. But it's like, okay, Dante Thornton, I'm an Oregon guy. We saw him. We thought he was going to be a dude. 13 receptions, 230 yards, right? And then Brew McCoy, who's we've heard, and so much about coming out of high school. This guy was supposed to be a stud. 17 receptions, 200 yards. You know, Imran, again, less than 20%. These guys had opportunities, especially with all these guys gone that were there the previous year, and nobody outside of Squirrel White really stepped up to the table. Now, the only problem is Squirrel White's backup would be Mike Matthews. So I don't know per se that he's going to get as many opportunities, or will there be some manufactured plays? Maybe they'll run 4 wide and this guy can get his chance on the opposite side of the field, you know. But is there a chance that they might decide, hey, you know, Thornton, McCoy, you guys really aren't stepping up to the table. We're going to move this guy into the slot. Or we're going to move this guy on the opposite side of the field. And we're going to see if we can just gas him and move guys all over the field. What are your thoughts with the depth in this wide receiver? Am I way out in left field saying that the talent is high, but the production really isn't there?
No, I don't think at all. You look at the names, like you said, Brew McCoy, Brazel, Squirrel White, they scream out at you. There should be high-level production.
Right.
But like you said, outside Squirrel White, it's not there. So I don't think that's crazy take at all.
And now that McCassell, McCallan Castles is gone. Wright's gone, Small's gone. I know Dylan Sampson's a dude, right? I love his game because he's a dual threat runner. Somebody's got to step up for Nico outside of Squirrel White. So maybe Mike Matthews is going to say, you know what, I'm not being nobody's backup. I'm going to work the other side of the field. And if Brew McCoy, you know, and Thorne aren't ready to step up, I'm going to step over them, and we're going to keep this party rocking. You know, talk to me about the spring game because, you know, everything we heard about in these practices kind of popped off.
Yeah. So like you said, everything we had heard about at practices, we got to see it on the one big play in the spring game. He had this 63-yard touchdown score, which you showed at the intro, dancing in the end zone afterwards. I mean, there's not much to say about it other than his speed showed right there.
He's electric, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, you get him in open field and good luck catching him. I have a concern. You understand my concern. Let the people know what my concern is, because I hate to say it. You know what I mean? I hate to put the kid in the box already, but.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've been kind of hitting on it. He seems like he's going to be a good fit and coaches veer and shoot kind of offense. But the question is he Jalen Hyatt 2.0? Are they going to just gadget play him? Everyone's focused on the left and you hit him for a 10-yard and he takes it to the crib on the right.
Right. Could they stack him with Sparrow?
Yeah.
So Sparrow, you run the 9, spread him out, and all of a sudden now this guy just running down the sideline and nobody around him because Squirrel's stretching the field. Or a Squirrel runs across, right? Just stretched it, and now this guy just got to wheel up the sideline with nobody to cover him. Or broken play McGee, right? Because Jalen Hyatt happened to be a big benefactor of broken plays. It's a quarterback-friendly offense, like you said, with the very shoot there. I think the kid's got the talent. I think the kid has the opportunity. Will he be there all 4 years? I don't know, but I think he's going to try to muster his way into this wide receiver room. And like I said, the talent he has. The talent is in front of him is there too, but they just haven't been able to grab the bull by the horn.
Even as a freshman, if he is the Jalen Hyatt type wide receiver, I mean, it's still getting him on the field, still being productive, which they absolutely need. So as a freshman, I wouldn't see a problem with it, but like year 2, year 3, I'd like to see him be what everyone thought Brew McCoy was supposed to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. We touched on it earlier. I said I was going to bring it up because I think it's a factor in this. Now, his special teams capability will probably get him on the field, regardless if that room is packed.
Right.
If he starts ripping off runs here and starts becoming electric in the special team games, I think Heupel's going to have no choice but to say, all right, guys, you guys are as vanilla as it gets. I'm coming with some Neapolitan here, and I'm going to switch it up because you got to keep the playmaker on the field, regardless of if the guy above him has got a higher ranking in a 5-star, 4-star, whatever you want to say. I think that's an aspect that could keep him on the field because he is that explosive. He is that shifty, and he has that 4.4 speed. It's that time, my man. When we get to these player comps, I had a guy originally, I was like, I'll bring him out there. I said, Rashid Rice, kind of, sort of, but maybe not as physical, right? He's got that game to him. But I've been on this ceiling and floor aspect, so I think this is these two guys kind of fit that realm where I want to keep them in that pocket. So, my floor comp, and in college he was great. He had a couple of years in the NFL, but just never really panned out the way. Is Sammy Watkins? All right, I think he can play. That's like he could play the outside, inside if you wanted him to be a special teams capability like Sammy Watkins had. And then if he hits and all boxes are a go, give me a mini DeAndre Hopkins here. I think he can go up and get. I think he can stretch the field. I just think the way he attacks with his hands, like that, DeAndre was like that aggressive guy. Whether it was contested catch, he had those late hands and he would just go freaking get it. I see that in him. I know we only have a small sample size. You go back to watching the Huddle film and it's there. Like even most of the time his catches are in front and away because he's blown by the receiver already. But when they are contested or in a room of guys, he goes and gets it. And he's like that alpha dog in the room, that pitbull. He's not letting you beat him. Or if you do, you're going to work really hard for it. It gives me that DeAndre Hopkins vibe to him. So what are your thoughts on those two guys, and who do you got?
I love the DeAndre Hopkins comp. And now that you bring him up, what I remember about Sammy Watkins, I think I like that comp a little bit more than I like the Hopkins comp. But both are pretty spot on, I think. And then for my comps, I didn't so much do a floor and a ceiling because if I had these two as my floor and the ceiling, they'd be pretty high.
Yeah.
They'd be pretty high.
Yeah.
My first one is Antonio Brown. Again, strong hands, attack the ball, crazy football IQ, yes, and speed. Was always in the right place at the right time before Antonio Brown now. And then my second one is Devontae Smith. Played with stupid speed, ended up winning him the Heisman because of it. But he also had that special teams aspect to his game when he was at Alabama and his rookie year, some up in Philly. Again, downfield threat.
Yeah.
And even for a slender guy, he's not afraid to go after a contested catch either. So those were my two comps.
Yeah, I mean, Devonta Smith-wise, I get it. That downfield capability, always a lot of his catches are out in front, because he's already past the guy, the way he works the perimeter and stuff. I can see that in Matthews. I feel like Matthews maybe a little bit, bulkier.
He's
right now. So we'll see what happens in 3 years. I mean, I feel like he could grow into that Hopkins style. I mean, he's right there with the height-wise already. Might need to put on like 12 pounds, I think, to kind of mate where, Hopkins is. But again, Hopkins has been playing for whatever it is, 12, 14 years.
Right.
So he has time. But I like the comps. I think the Antonio Brown one, that one was a little rough for me because Antonio Brown is just, you know what I'm saying? Like he came in
Steelers Antonio Brown, not Patriots.
Well, even at Tampa Bay, he was still elite when he played.
Oh, yes.
That dude was just stupid, right? Like the talent he has, the way he could just take off the line of scrimmage, the explosiveness, that A-step that he had, and he could toy with you downfield as well. So Matthews flashed some of that. We've only seen it against his own teammates, but if we can see that in SEC competition, even if it's in small little blurps, watch out because, we saw.
Here's another name I wanted to throw out to you. It's a current SEC team, but another player he reminded me about is your guy in Kentucky.
Brown?
Yes.
Barry and Brown, yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah, they both got the speed. They attack the ball as well, and the special teams capability because they both can take a punt return.
Which, I mean, if he lives up to that, even that's not.
If he gives me Barry and Brown production year 1,
oh, year 1, that'd be
bro. That'd be somebody on this starting lineup taking a seat, dude. That's a fact. If he's giving us that Barry and Brown production, so yeah, I love it. I think this kid in the school with the QB that if he sticks out, like he got Nico for at least 3 seasons. I don't think Nico's going anywhere. I think this is the perfect spot for him, the style of play that he has with a young backfield of like just made up of like all the pieces in an RB room that you would want. They have that bruiser, they have that shifty guy in Samson. So like, yeah, I think this kid's lined up for success and greatness, and we'll have to see. But again, we wanted to bring it out there as a Devy Darlings guy who possibly at the next level. Like if this guy hits on all levels in 3 years, we're going to talk about him coming out as a junior, right? Like, and we're going to be saying, all right, is he an early to mid second round pick? Like if he checks all these boxes, Dino, right, and he hits on everything he's supposed to in the way we talked about him, would he be a mid second round pick to you?
If he can hit all these boxes, I think he is a early second, fringe late first kind of guy.
So we're talking somewhere in between the 7 and 12 ranked going into that draft class.
Yeah, for wide receiver. Yeah.
Yes, for wide receivers. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And I think that's a possibility. I think if he checks all
like a Xavier Worthy this year, like we had talked about in the green room, how he kind of snuck his way in with his speed.
Hey, I can't argue with that. I really can't because we've seen it. You know what I mean? We've seen it happen in multiple years. I mean, guys like Zay Flowers and Tank Dell have also just shot up the charts. You know what I'm saying, with their speed and shiftiness. So yeah, I got him right now somewhere in the mid to late second round grade. If he checks all the boxes, but hey, shit, if the speed it continues and he puts on some size, it'd be hard not to say that he couldn't be, you know.
Yeah, if he plays closer to 200,
that's what I'm saying.
He drops to like a low 4.3. I mean,
yeah, that's gonna be pretty hard.
Like AJ Brown size.
That's what I'm saying, and he's got
Hyatt speed.
Yeah. So what's Hyatt weigh?
I would probably
205.
Maybe soaking wet.
Really?
Hyatt? Yeah. I would be surprised if he's over 195.
It'll be interesting. But like I said, we got at least 3 years to see before my man takes off. I'm Nino Brown. That's my guy Dino, aka Mr. Get It Done. This is Devy Darlings on the CFB Nation, and we out.